My name is Andrew Morgan, and I had the privilege of directing this film called The True Cost that really explores the impact of fashion all over the world as it relates to people and human rights, as well as the environment. And, I came into the film with no experience in fashion at all. And I picked up a newspaper one day and read about a clothing factory collapse that had taken the lives of over 1,000 people. And I just began to get curious to better understand where my clothes came from, who was making them, and what kind of impact it was having. And that journey kind of unfolded. It took us to 13 countries around the world. We filmed in some of the most bright and beautiful fashion runways and shops and brands. And we also spent time in some of the darkest slums and some of the most desperate parts of the world. And I think the message from the film is really just this invitation to each of us and all of us to begin to consider the hearts and hands behind the things that we wear. For me, I was only a person that looked at the price tag or the aesthetic of a piece of clothing that I picked up. And I think what's transformed in my life is really beginning to see fashion as a tool to empower people out of poverty and to begin to actually address some of the most grave challenges we have today, like climate change and extreme inequality. So why I'm thrilled to be here in Rome tonight and a part of this event is I think this is a room full of people who are starting to wake up to that idea, and I think they could, and Rome could, be a part of leading the fashion industry forward to a more beautiful future, both outside as well as inside in the stories that these clothes hold. Thanks.
We communicate who we are through clothing. It is fundamentally a part of what we wish to communicate about ourselves.
We used to have a system, a fashion system. That has absolutely nothing to do with the fashion industry today. It has been reinvented.
It's based on materialism. The problem is that comes at a really high price.
Garment factory collapsed, killing more than 1,000.
Clashes between clothes factory workers and riot police in Cambodia.
Last November, 112 people were killed in another major factory fire. 30,000 Chinese workers have been on strike.
Garment workers in Bangladesh paying the price for cheap clothing.
Well, the promise of globalization was that it was going to be a win-win, that consumers in the rich world would get cheaper goods and people in the poorer parts of the world would get jobs, and that those jobs would give them an opportunity to work their way out of poverty.
This enormous, rapacious industry that is generating so much profit, why is it that it is unable to support millions of its workers properly?
The actual business model is completely unsustainable. Unless you change that model, you can't change anything.
When everything is concentrated on making profits, what you see is that human rights, the environment, workers' rights get lost.
My God, we can do better than this.
And I want it.